This next section we've designed based on some of the feedback that we've had over the last year or two, where when we've been out delivering the training, practitioners attending the training have asked to see a video resource of working with the cards with a younger child. Okay, so you will be familiar with our two videos that we do have, but hopefully this shows you a little bit of a different stance when you're working with a younger child. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to play about 10 minutes, isn't it? About 11 minutes, is it? At the middle section of the video, I have to say that I am actually starring in the video, so I'm just going to be sitting in the corner cringing, watching myself. Luckily, I've seen it twice already, so I've become normalised to it, hopefully. We're going to give points to the table who guess who our child star is as well. So we're going to watch the video and then we're going to come back. I'm going to ask you to have a little bit of a discussion around the table, and then I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about my own experience of using the cards with primary age children. Is that okay? So we'll put the video on first. Okay, hi Holly. It's lovely to see you again today. Thanks for coming back to see me again.
You too.
Okay, so I remember last time we met, we said that today we might spend some time looking at the next step cards. Do you remember we talked about that a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
And we said that the next step cards might help you to understand your thoughts and feelings a little bit, because you were telling me that you were feeling a little bit worried, but you wasn't quite sure what it was that was bothering you. So should we do that today? Does that feel all right?
Mm-hmm.
But before we do that, I wondered if you might like to have a little game. Do you like double? Have you ever played double before?
Yeah.
So I've got a choice of 3 doubles there. Would you like to choose one? Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Harry Potter double, okay?
Put these aside.
Okay. So, what do you think? Should we just have
5?
Yeah, 5 cards each. That sounds good. You okay to deal?
Yes. I never get to deal.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It's a bit...
I have to warn you, I'm very, very good at double. I'm hungry. 5 each, okay? Do you want to turn the first card over?
Yeah. And then look at the top card.
Oh, sorry.
3, 2.
Look at the top card, okay. Don't know all the characters' names, so just sometimes I have to make them up. Oh, this is a hard one.
Oh. Mirror.
Oh, she's about...
Broomstick.
Oh, well done. Oh no. Oh, book. Badge. Oh, which one's that? The red badge?
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor.
Book.
Oh, who's this guy? Oh, who is that?
That's
Character. Don't know which character that is. It's not Severus, is it?
plant.
Mandalorian, is that?
Double.
Oh.
Cousin.
Oh. Oh.
Sword.
Oh.
I win.
Well done. So much for me being
The best.
unbeaten. Right, I'll put those down here. Put out of the way. Okay. Okay. So for the next set cards, there's a variety of different cards in the pack. For today, we are just gonna focus on these cards, which are the traffic light cards. And the traffic light card, you can either have the faces side up, so we've got a happy face, we've got a middly type face, and we've got a sad face, or we've just got plain cards, plain colours. like the colours of the traffic light. And then the other cards that we're going to focus on are these cards, which are called the life cards, and we've got 12 of these. Okay, sit back for a minute, Paul. Okay, so they're the life cards. So we've got the trap. We're just going to focus on those for now. So I'll put these ones away for now. So we've got we've got the traffic light cards, and then we've got these cards that kind of represent different parts of your life. Any questions so far?
What are these cards?
Okay, so we also have some blank cards, okay? So as we go through these cards and as we chat about the different areas of your life, what we might find is that there might be something that you think of that's important in your life that isn't in our life cards, because we haven't covered everything, or we'd kind of be here all day, wouldn't we? So the blank cards, I've got some pens as well here, are just if there's something that seems really important to you that you want to think about, we can use one of the blank cards, okay? Okay, so these are the different cards we're going to focus on today. Okay, so we're going to start with the traffic light card. So tell me a little bit, what do you think these mean, these traffic light cards? What do they mean to you, and which way would you like to have them?
I like to have them this way.
Yeah?
And this one, I'm going to do like a spiderwebby kind of thing.
Okay.
So this one is like annoying, kind of like bad kind of things. And this is just kind of undecided, like in the middle. And this is just good things, just in general.
Okay, so so you like to have them this way, where we can't see the faces, we just see the colours, and we've got the green is feeling like things that are good. The amber is feeling, what did you say about the amber
like
colour?
In the middle.
Almost in the middle, undecided. And then we've got the red, which you said is, what did you say about the red?
Like annoying, kind of bad thing.
Bad thing. Maybe things that you want to change? Is that maybe? Okay. So how would you like to do this now? Do you want to go through the cards one at a time and talk to me about it? Or would you rather just kind of position them in the traffic lights and then we'll talk about it after? What would you prefer?
One at a time.
Okay. Do you want to pick them out one at a time then?
You can do
that. Okay. The world. Okay. So it feels like that world's going in orange at the moment.
I feel like it would normally, so this is a middle space, would kind of be in there normally, the middle between good and medium.
Okay.
Which is strange, but you know what I mean.
You know what, Holly? That's absolutely okay. If you find that there's a middle space, you could pop it in the middle between if you wanted to. If it feels like it's kind of in the middle between good and maybe not sure. Where would you like it to go?
Just there.
Okay. Which card's next?
This one.
Okay. Safe card. So what does that mean? Oh, well, do you know what I should have told you? Actually, Holly, you can use the pictures or you could just use the words. So we've got the pictures on one side and we've got the words on the other. So you can choose to use them how you prefer. You just like the words. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. So you've put the safety card in green. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about that?
Because I feel like safe is kind of like how you feel in like the place that you live in, a bit like the environment that you live in, and I feel like that's quite safe. I don't think that sometimes I don't feel I never really feel unsafe.
Yeah.
So I feel like
that's a really good explanation. Okay, which card would you like to go with next?
This one.
Others? Okay. And what does that card mean?
It's just the people around you, because some people can be maybe disrespectful and rude, but other people can be nice and welcoming. So I feel like it's kind of in the middle of people. Like,
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Got to go in the middle because I guess are you thinking about the others around you in the world, like maybe the people you meet and things like that? Okay.
and then I feel like this one, because I feel like this one would go in the. I feel like this one would go in the.
Strong card.
I think of this as both like emotional and physical.
Okay. It's a really clever way of thinking about it. How strong you feel emotionally and physically.
Probably just on green.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like even if someone says something to me which is not as nice, they just say it because like they're not. Even if they say that, it's not their opinion as well as it's like I don't really care because it's others. It's not me.
Okay. So you know how to deal with things when things get tough by the sounds of it. Yeah. Okay.
This one.
Okay.
I feel like this is green. I feel pretty good about myself. Sometimes I'm just like. I wish I was like. I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna say. But
Well,
yeah,
you feel pretty good about yourself overall. What makes you feel good about yourself, do you think?
I don't know. It's just I like the way I look. I like the way I dress. I get compliments.
That sounds nice.
When I smile at people, they smile back.
Oh, that's lovely.
Even if it's strangers.
Okay.
Okay.
Which card would you like to look at next?
This one.
Well, that's a big word, isn't it?
Community. So basically,
you're very organised with these cards, aren't you, Holly?
So I feel like this, I'm pretty sure I said something about it last time we spoke about like it being like a good foundation, like a mountain. Did I?
When you were talking about the community where you live and how
like the mountain it builds like if one falls into maybe the orange, it has a bit of a knock-on effect.
I see. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
When I did the
Yeah. Oh, right. So you're making links between them all.
Yeah, and then like family goes in who
yeah
like that. And then I feel like so I feel like community goes in this one because I feel like it's the people that you live around, it's the people that you wake up in the morning, it's the people that make you feel happy, stuff like that. And when I wake up in the morning, I feel like I've got a good community. It isn't like a kind of place where you don't feel welcome.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that next to my house there's like a little when my friends come over, we go to get a milkshake.
Wow. By yourself?
Yeah.
And is that right near to your house, is it?
You just walk up the road.
Oh.
You don't have to cross any bridge.
Yeah. That sounds lovely. Okay. It's a really lovely space, isn't it, in this room? Yeah, I enjoy working in here. Okay, so you've done really well. Okay. You've done 6 cards so far, so we've got another 6 to get through.
Okay, and I'm just gonna. So I feel like I'm gonna do this one because I'm gonna do them ones later.
Okay.
So I feel like I like my home life. I feel like that's quite good. It's quite healthy. And then my family are really nice. I've got a big family.
Really?
Yeah, I've got a really big family.
Wow.
So I've got a lot of pets.
Really?
So there's a lot of it's very cute.
I think I remember you telling me about your dog last week actually when we met.
Do you remember his name?
This is a test now. Was it Norman? That's such a cool name for a dog, isn't it? Okay, so you've kind of popped all those in green. Okay, so we've just got these last four, and then we'll think a little bit more about the where you've put them in terms of the traffic lights, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So which card would you like to look at next?
Mood. I think we're going orange a little bit because it depends on wait. Can I put these in and then tell you about it?
Yeah, of course.
Where's that pencil case?
Thank you.
Done.
Okay, so you're happy with everything that you've put? The positions where you've put everything so far. Does that feel okay?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you've kind of told me all about the green already, and we'll come back to thinking about them a little bit more. And then we've got kind of like an in between green and orange. Would you like to tell me a little bit about the orange and red? And I'm thinking that is this like an in between spot between orange and red? That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in orange, I put feelings because I feel like they can just alter, and feelings connect to your mood and how like if you feel a certain way, then your mood changes in a certain kind of way.
Yeah. So feelings are attached to your mood, and if you feel a certain way, it might change your mood.
Yeah.
You might act. So you're talking about behaviours and thoughts as well.
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So they're in orange. So they're things that are kind of in the middle. Yeah. And what about the ones that are kind of orangey red? I've noticed you've put school and you've put friends up there. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, I have friends who are in school, but sometimes there's girls in my class who aren't as nice to everybody, like particularly us, particularly me, and that's why school and friends are kind of together, because it's just like sometimes you feel a bit left out.
Okay. So sometimes with friends, and this seems to happen in school, you feel a little bit left out, and that feels really hard. Would you want to have a card for left out, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to use the blank card, or you could use some pens to kind of maybe write or draw something to represent it? That sounds really tough, Holly. Is that something that happens every week, or
maybe like? Oh wow. Maybe like every in school we have like 5 days, so probably about like every two, like it won't like a bit regularly, but not like every week.
Not every week or not every day, do you mean?
Not every, so it might happen like once a week, but then the next week it won't happen. But then the next week it might happen twice a week.
Okay, so it's kind of happening sometimes, or sometimes to often, maybe. Okay, and is that something that you want to change?
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes if you're playing with somebody and you're trying to be nice to them, and then they kind of don't let you play with them anymore, and then you go to somebody else, you go to somebody else and you're like, who you don't regularly play with, and you're like, can I play with you please? They'll be a bit like, you can play with us, but you can be the farmer and we'll be the horses, so then you don't get to play properly and it's unfair. Or sometimes they'll be like, this is only a game for like 4 of us, and it's just...
Okay, so from what you're saying, I'm getting a sense that sometimes you're feeling left out, and sometimes that's to do with others who either don't let you play in their games, or
maybe they're not letting you be part of planning the game, or the kind of, does it feel like you're getting bossed about sometimes by others in school? Is that
Yeah.
part of it? Okay, and that's something that you'd like to change. So, okay, I can see you doing a nice drawing here.
It's supposed to be, and then I'm just gonna draw really quickly. I'm just gonna draw.
So you've drawn 2 characters there. And, oh, I see.
It's not very good.
Do you want to tell me a bit about the picture? My pens are not working brilliantly, are they, on your on this card? But I can see what you're trying to draw. Tell me a little bit about your picture that you've drawn.
So it's obviously left out card. So I did a picture of this is supposed to be a trampoline, but it's yellow because yellow is my favourite colour.
Oh wow.
And so it's supposed to be some people jumping on the trampoline, and then you might ask to play. And sometimes they'll like maybe ignore you, or just be like, just kind of like no. So it's a bit like question marks, like.
Okay. So you're left thinking, wondering what to do by the sounds of it. Okay. So where's that one going? Okay.
I feel like it needs to be further away from here, but not directly in the red.
Right. Okay. So
a bit like that.
That sounds
very strange.
That sounds really tough. What's happening in school for you? And I wondered if maybe that might be something that we can focus on in the work that we do. And what I usually help children and young people to do is to set a goal around something that they're finding hard around these life areas. And then we can work on ways to kind of change our thoughts, feelings and behaviours. Does that make sense to you? So do you know what a goal is? I'm gonna test you now.
A goal is, my mum told me what a goal was. It's like being, so you can be really nice and like do the right thing. Like, it's about like doing the right thing the whole time, so you can be really nice when somebody's watching, really nice, and be like respect people, and like maybe just for example, like, so while somebody's watching, for example, you wouldn't steal, but then if somebody wasn't watching, maybe to set a goal, like say you set a goal, no stealing, if you're a robber, and in front of somebody you wouldn't steal, but then behind their back when nobody's watching, then you kind of steal, so you kind of be intuitive or something. Intuitive. Is that
intuitive? I think you're talking about integrity.
Integrity.
Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Okay. So a goal is about always trying to work towards doing the right thing.
Yeah. So when somebody's watching and when nobody's watching.
Yeah. So if we think about a football match, what happens when they score a goal? Where does it go?
It adds on to the score.
Yeah, it goes into the net, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like the target almost, so something to work towards. Okay. So if we were thinking, you've spoken a little bit about green and how you've linked all these up, which was very clever of you actually. You linked all these up and you said they make kind of like a mountain of all the good things. And then you've got these in the middle and you've got the origin red. So if we were going to think about setting a goal to work towards something that might be able to be changed, is it just one of these cards, or do a couple of the cards need to go together?
Maybe. Bit like this. Wait, this might be quite cool. Do this. Bless me. Excuse me. Sorry.
Excuse you. Excuse you. Okay. So we've got a goal to think about friends, to think about school, and to help with you with this feeling of left out, to help you and to think about what you can change for yourself that might help you to feel better about the situation in school. Does that feel okay? Okay. So So that's what we'll work on for our goal. Okay.
Thanks everyone. So we'll just pause it there. I don't know if there's any prizes for guessing who our child star is. But that's my daughter Holly. So she volunteered to take part in a video so that we could film that to give you a bit of an example of working with a younger child. There's one key skill that I can see coming through there that I'm demonstrating. I don't know if anyone can guess what that is. Patience. A lot of patience is one of the key things that you need when you're working with younger children. So thanks for watching the video. The whole video, as we say, is available on the website. But what we wanted you to do now really is just to spend a few minutes on your tables and just considering some of these things that we're going to ask you to discuss, to think about first and then discuss. So it might be that you work with younger children who are more like primary aged, or children who are developmentally really at that stage. But if you work with older children as well, really I just want you to maybe have a think about and discuss the different age ranges that you work with the Next Step cards, and any ideas and thoughts, and maybe linking back to what you've seen in the video. And then also to think about what information potentially that you might share with any parents and carers in relation to when you're working with the Next Step cards. And then also whether or not there are any consent and confidentiality issues that may come up as well, okay? So we're going to give you, how long have we got for this, Jenny? Is it about maybe about 7 minutes, okay, to be specific. And we'll let you have a chat, and then we'll just be pottering around to see how you're getting on with those conversations, and then we'll take some feedback, if that's okay. I'm just really curious, if it's okay, as I was popping around the table, some people didn't seem to cotton on to the fact that it was my daughter. So just to show a hand, put your hands up if you had a suspicion that was my daughter in the video. It's less than half, so yeah, interesting. There's a couple of bits in the video that really stuck out to me. So there's one where I kind of always push her out the way. And then I was like, oh, why have I done that? Yeah. And then there was another bit where she really rolls her eyes at me when I say something. So yeah. So what I would say is we started off by writing a script based on a real life issue, and when you watch the rest of the video, it's around a friendship issue, but it was based on a real friendship issue that she's been struggling with. She's actually in year 6 now, but looks a lot younger, so we were thinking like a child around the age of 8. So she based it on a real life issue which causes a bit of distress from time to time, which is something that I find often happens in year 5 in primary school, the girls. It always seems to start to be a tricky year 5, so that's what we based it on. So yeah, so if it's okay, what we're going to do is we're just going to take some feedback. So we've got the lovely Jenny running around with a roving mic at the moment. So we're going to take some feedback maybe from tables, if that feels okay, and just have a bit of a discussion around these questions, or any other thoughts that came up around working with a younger child or working with different age ranges, if that's okay. So would anyone like to start with any thoughts around working, how you adapt with different age ranges? Yeah, brilliant, thanks very much. Jenny's just popping over now with the mic. Thank you.
I just said that I sometimes take out the amber coloured card because of the children I work with. In their life, they see things as black and white, so they don't really want to go in the middle. They want it either to be black or white type of thing.
Okay. Yeah, and that's a really good point in terms of sometimes when we narrow down the cards is to work with different children with different presenting issues. I suppose we have to sometimes really narrow down the card. So that's a really good example. Thanks very much for sharing. Anybody else? Just over here, Jenny, please.
We said about the taking out the amber card as well, and having that, because I know in the video Holly put it like in between the green and the amber.
Yeah.
And we were saying it makes it easier to have like that one middle ground, as opposed to having sort of, it ends up as like 5 colours sometimes when they're a bit younger.
Yeah.
And we were also talking about the images that are on the cards sometimes, because they are so interpretive. the image doesn't fit what that child feels that card is. So explaining to them that sometimes you can use the picture, sometimes you can flip it over and have the word, and having that kind of discussion is one way that we really adapt using them.
Yeah, great. And that's why it's good that we've got those two sides on the cards. And something I often find is that younger children prefer the words, but older children often do prefer the pictures, which sometimes you'd think that might be the other way around. But
Can I just add there as well? Holly goes on to draw on one of the blank cards. And a lot of people have come back and sort of again feedback from training and saying that they would like packs of blank cards. So they're being delivered tomorrow, otherwise they would have been here today. But they are now, you can buy packs of just blank cards. They're only 10 quid. So you know, if you want any of those, just give me a call, because sometimes the 5 that you get in the pack, it just isn't enough.
yeah, and it's nice. I think I'm trying to remember now what it was something around the friendship issues that she drew out on the cards. So feeling left out. Okay, great. Thanks very much for sharing. Anybody else? Any feedback? I did hear some conversations around the consent and confidentiality stuff, and I feel like as though it was coming from over here. Sorry to put you on the spot. Would anyone like to share your discussions around that? Would that be okay?
After we'd done the sorting activity, we'd moved on to how we were going to help this particular little person, who's only about 6, move his world from in the amber to the green. And when we'd built the steps, we'd picked 5 cards from the steps themselves. I asked him, are there any of those you want me to share with your mum? His mum was in the next door room. Yeah. She'd actually gone out because I do family therapy. And he did. He didn't want to share them with her in the room, but he wanted her to know about them. He wanted me to share them with her. So that comes up quite a lot.
Okay, and that's a really good example in how that the collaboration with that younger child and how they may have felt empowered to be able to have that information shared in a really safe and trusting way. So thanks very much for sharing that with us. That's great. Anybody else like to share anything? Thank you.
I just wanted to share that one of the colleagues here mentioned that they work at social work level and actually work with children on sort of like child protection plans, and they use Next Steps here in terms of finding out about the safety of young people and actually sort of like gauging improvements and gauging progress. And I just thought that really demonstrated the breadth of involvement that you can actually have with a pack of cards and engaging a young person.
Definitely. So it's you know, it's a really important tool. I think you're talking about capturing the voice of the child there and how maybe that might inform child in need planning or child protection planning, and the fact that we can measure the outcomes of that and track the changes. So that's great to hear how it's being used in a multidisciplinary way. Thank you. We've got someone at the back.
Obviously, we'd never interpret for the child what is on the cards. However, with the younger children, for us, we sometimes spend a bit longer than we would for the older children looking at what the cards mean to them. Yeah. Because I think, particularly when children in situations that they don't necessarily feel comfortable with, they'll just rush and put the card down. And actually, things like the community card and the world card for our younger children, they actually have no idea what that card means. Yeah. But through a discussion, if they've just shoved that in the green section because they think, I don't know what it is, I'll just put it as good. But then through a conversation with them, the understanding might be more in depth, and then therefore that could move to red, which could be quite significant. So we just spend a bit longer interpreting the cards, obviously in their own way. We don't prompt them, but just so they have that better understanding, so that the analysis is more accurate. Yeah. It's a really good example of an adaptation that you do need to make with younger children and with other children, depending where they are developmentally. That it could be just a whole session that is spent around just using the life cards before you moved on to any other part of the intervention, to make sure that you fully understand and you're giving them the space to kind of process and think about it. So that's a great example. Thanks very much for sharing. Any other examples? Got time for maybe 1 or 2 more? If anyone else has got any thoughts they'd like to share? I'm kind of done.
in terms of the feedback from the room? There we go, we've got one more, thank you.
Hi, yeah, I was just thinking about the length of time that you spend, because especially with younger children, if they're really engaged, it's worth spending that time, because when you think about everything else you've got to get through in a session, I've just reflecting that possibly I don't spend enough time doing the check-in and that activity. So it was really good as a reminder just to, you know, it's worth investing that time in the session on those cards. Yeah.
Definitely, and thanks for sharing that. And I think that's where I kind of made the comment of patience, not just because she's my daughter, but also because you do have to be patient with children, young people, with the adults. The use of kind of silence and pauses and giving that time and space is really, really important. So thanks very much for feeding that back. Anybody, any quick last ones, or does that feel like we've got enough in terms of feedback? We've got quite a lot of feedback there anyway. We did say that we would feed back to Holly and let her know the discussion that we had in the room, so that's really helpful. Thanks very much. Okay, so I think we've more or less covered everything that I'd put on these slides, but these are some of the key things that from my own practice and from the research that I've done, I find to be really helpful when working with younger children. So the importance of playfulness, which helps build trust and relationships, okay, across the board really with whoever you're working with. And for children and young people, it might be games such as Dobble. So if you've not heard of Dobble before, it's a great game because you can have a long game, a short game or whatever. Although it does become very competitive, so it's hard to sit back and let them win sometimes. Or something like these grounding and soothing cards, Karen Treisman. These can be used with children, young people and adults as well. So they're really good ways of just building that trust in the room and making things a little bit playful. The length of sessions, and I call that chunking, okay? So thinking about how long sessions are, you know, how long can smaller children stay focused? You will have noticed with Holly, she was up and down, wasn't she? She was kind of looking over here. At one point, she was curious about something that was on the wall. So we need to really be thinking about the length of sessions and how long we can ask children to engage for. And with that, we might be thinking about how we get a bit of movement into the session as well, which leads on to what I call the sandwich approach. I don't know if I've actually made this up or if anyone else has heard of the sandwich approach, but I always think of it when I'm working with a younger child. I think about the middle bit being the meat in the sandwich, and on the both sides, I think about that being the bread. So the little game of Dobble, or the warm-up activity, that's your bread, and then the meat in the sandwich is the task that you're going to do in the session, and how you kind of collaboratively agree that that's what you're going to do, and then always making sure that you close your sandwich, I suppose, that you've got the bread on the other end, so you've got a nice soothing ground and activity, or another game of Dobble, whatever it is, you've got that time, so the session feels nice and contained for the child or young person. And then the importance about the systems, okay, so whether or not it's the parents, carers, or the school, or, you know, we heard about social care system, the engagement and the collaboration and the consent from the child as to what, we heard a really good example of how you get that and how you share that. So you're making sure that you are collaborating with the wider system where possible. And then adaptations, flexibility and patience, okay? So sometimes if something else is going on that day, sometimes you've got to kind of adapt and change and do something slightly differently, haven't you? So just being mindful of that, thinking that it is actually that child's session, isn't it? Sometimes we have an agenda, but we need to make sure actually it's the child's session, it's their time and space. We've covered consent and confidentiality, and then I'm just kind of linking back to evidence-based practice. So as you're going to hear more about the research this afternoon, the next step card really links to evidence-based practice. But when you're working with children and young people, really 10s, 11s, 12s, anyone under 12, the evidence base is around working with the parents as well. So just making sure how you can kind of have that multi-systemic approach with the children who you work with. Okay, so I guess there's some of the top tips. I did spend 10 years as a primary school learning mentor, so I kind of picked up all those by being led by what the children wanted really. So yeah, So they're my top tips, I suppose. Okay. So that's it really in terms of this session. Oh, sorry, no, what I've forgotten to say is where to find the video. Okay. So if you go to our website, nextstepcards.co.uk, and then click on the resources on the navigation bar at the top of the page, and then our password's the same, which is Next Step 2023 exclamation mark. Scroll down to an example with a young person called Holly, and that's where you'll be able to see the fuller video.
But not immediately.
Oh, it's not on there yet. Give us a little bit of time and we'll get it on there soon. It's next on
Yeah.
Jenny's list.
Yeah. Sophie and I will work on that. We'll get it on next week.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, thanks very much. So I guess that just leads to say thank you, and especially for all your participation there, which was great.